Hi everyone, and welcome finally, as always, after a long delay, to the next part, to part 3 of the Eurofly 3 training flight tutorial series. I know, I'm really sorry about that. I know that those of you who listen to these tutorials as they come out are way ahead of me. Many of you have probably finished your training already, but I can't do any better, okay? Let's just suffice it to say that I'm recording these as quickly as I can and as soon as I can, whenever I can. And I hope you're having as much fun, or at least, have as much fun listening to these and flying or learning from these, trying out your own flights using the tips you've learned from these as I have recording them. Well, last tutorial was we were flying with the Piper Arrow on airports with a single runway, and I was saying at the end that today we would be doing a flight with the Mooney aircraft. I believe it's called Mooney M20 or something. We'll see shortly. Where the difference between these tutorials is going to be that the Mooney training stage uses airports with up to 3 runways, so we'll be demonstrating that. And the Mooney also has a retractable landing gear. Obviously, all the airplanes have a landing gear, but many of the smaller ones, like the previous training stages, do not have a retractable one. So essentially what that means for you as the pilot is that the landing gear on these planes is always lowered in the position for takeoff and landing, and you can't really do anything about that. Whereas with the Mooney and with the other planes, training planes from this point on, you will also have to think about one more thing, as though you didn't have enough to think about already, and that is raising and lowering the landing gear. So we'll be doing a flight with 3 on airports with 3 runways and with a plane that has a retractable landing gear. And we've skipped the previous training stage, which is training stage 1C with the Beechcraft Bonanza plane. But as you can see by now, there's not that much of a difference between the Bonanza and the Piper Arrow, or the Bonanza and the Mooney, except for the landing gear. These tutorials always try to focus on what's new in that training stage. So that's what we're doing here. You can easily combine the information that you're going to learn from this one with the information that you've learned from the previous ones, and you can apply the same principles, obviously, as always, in Eurofly. Okay, I've talked for long enough. I don't want to bore you to falling asleep, so training. Let's go into training.
Training.
Well, in your case, if you're doing this in order and as the tutorials come out, or if you're doing this later after the official version has been released, you will, on this screen, you'll only see the training combo box, as I explained before, and the only plane available to you in this combo box will be the Mooney something. But as I'm already further along in the training, I have to press
Practice Flights combo
Shift Tab to get to the Practice Flights combo box. Choose the
Mooney M20J.
Yeah, it's Mooney M20J. Okay, choose this one here. But like I also said before, this is going to be the only difference between the way I do the flight and between the way you do it, if you're at the proper stage in the training. So I will be doing a practice flight again, not a mandatory training flight. But like I said, that's the only difference.
Airport selection dialog.
Let me choose.
Filter edit.
Again, another airport that I know, that I'm familiar with. That's my favorite.
Select an airport combo box. Czech Republic all modes.
With 3, this one is going to have 3 runways, and 2 of them are going to be parallel. So we have a lot to talk about.
Total Europe Czech Republic dashboard window.
We're on the dashboard. As always, we should really be familiar with this by now. It should be second nature to you. So let's get started with the usual checklist with turning on all the systems that we need. As always, power supply, Control-Shift-B. Computer, we're gonna be out of fuel probably.
Computer on. Fuel low.
Yes, we are.
Fuel
Control
low.
E.
Set
Fuel
fuel
low.
amount edit blank.
Fuel
And
low.
for the purposes of
Fuel
this
low.
tutorial,
Blank.
Fuel low. Fuel
Blank.
low.
Blank.
Fuel low.
Number lock off.
Fuel low.
I'm
Fuel
gonna
low.
do 1000
1000
liters.
Dashboard window.
Just because I can. Let's not let's not try to save fuel because it doesn't cost us anything at the moment. So
Transponder on.
transponder, Control Shift T.
Storm radar
Storm
on.
radar, Control Shift S. All the lights.
Cabin lights on.
Shift S.
Strobe lights on.
Shift D.
Taxi lights on.
Shift K. Let's fasten our seatbelt.
Seatbelt
Control
fastened.
B. Perform the system check. Control Shift.
Starting system check.
Control Shift Z. Let's find out where we are. KNL.
Minus 200 hangar.
We are in
50
the
hangar.
hangar because this is the first flight of the day. O.
Hangar doors closed north.
The hangar doors are closed and they're to the north.
North.
S. We're also facing north, so we're good to go. Shift O to open the hangar. And let's start creating our flight plan. So let's find our destination airport. Control F8.
Combo. Filter.
I'm gonna choose the one that I want and that I know.
Combo box Slovakia Martin. LZMA. 139 kilometers. 114 right. 1 hours 32 minutes.
139 kilometers away. So space
Destination set. Dashboard window.
to set it as our destination. 9 key on the numbers row to find out the approach control frequency for the starting airport.
Combo box all modes approach control 118,0 collapsed.
118.0.
Dashboard window.
Escape. Control Shift F to turn
Radio
on the
on.
radio. Alt F to set
Set
frequency 118. Enter.
All modes approach control. Dashboard window.
Welcome to our airport.
Thanks. F1
Combo.
to contact the tower and
Plan. I want to create a flight plan.
I want to create a flight plan.
Call sign edit read only SKOTF 204.
You see, this is a optional training flight, OTF,
Select destination.
and our call sign.
Filter edit blank.
But like I said, that's going to be the only difference between my flight and your flights.
Select destination combo box Slovakia
The
Martin.
destination has been pre-filled, as always.
Flight description edit blank.
Flight description.
Mooney training tutorial.
Mooney training tutorial.
Requesting combo box navigated flight collapsed. Direct.
Let's ask for the direct flight.
Request flight button.
Request flight.
Dashboard window.
SK204. Flight plan accepted. Set transponder to 5573.
5573. So Alt T.
Set transponder code. Set transponder.
5573.
5,573. 5,570.
And we're almost good to go. But before we start the engines and ask for the runway, let's take a look at the starting airport properties and especially at its description. Shift Enter.
Combo box pilot Lucas SKOTF. Mooney training tutorial. Mooney M20J. LKOL. All modes.
LKOL is the ICAO code of the airport.
Public without maintenance services. 1.
It's public without maintenance services. Still, category
Height
1
above sea level
airport.
259 m.
259 meters, 260 meters above sea level.
Difficulty 1.
Still says it's difficulty 1.
Approach control 1.
It doesn't have a ground control because it doesn't have gates or stands. Again, as usual.
Airport description.
But now let's pay a lot of attention to this airport description. I'm gonna read through it first, then I'm going to explain what everything means.
Runways 3. Runway 09R27L 759 m. Entrance 09R Delta 200 100. Entrance 27L Delta Sierra 1 Yankee 200 860. Surface grass. Runway 09L27R 759 m. Entrance 09L Delta 350 100. Entrance 27R Delta Sierra 1 Yankee 350 860. Surface grass. Runway 1028 420 m. Entrance 10 Delta 880 100. Entrance 28 Delta Foxtrot Yankee 807 510. Surface asphalt. Hangar south. Total area. Safety zone 200.
So the hangar is to the south, means we'll be leaving the hangar while facing north across the Delta runway, taxiway, across the main Delta taxiway. And what does this description of the 3 runways tell us? It tells us that we have 2 parallel runways running east to west, 09 and 27. Obviously, because they're parallel, that means they're literally next to each other and starting on the same taxiway. That means that they have to be differentiated somehow. So the one that's closer to us, to the beginning of Delta, when we enter Delta, we'll first come across the 09R, the 09 right runway, and then there's going to be the 09 left runway, and then there would be runway 10. So that's almost north to south. It's runway 10.
Surface, runway 1028, 400.
Okay, 1028, that's interesting. I thought it would be 1019 or something. Oh, because excuse me, I'm stupid. Obviously, of course, it's not 01, it's 10. So that's 10 degrees to the right of east. So even this runway runs almost due east, but just very slightly diagonally or to the right of east. So that one would be on course 100, and the other end, if we were coming from the other end, would be on direction on course 280 degrees. So obviously the other end of the runway, 180 degrees difference. So if we drove along Delta, we would first come across the runway 09R, 09L, then 10, and then to get to the other ends of all these taxiways, we would need to turn to Sierra, probably, I guess it would be a left turn. Then we would need to follow Sierra, turn to Yankee from there, probably another left turn, and then we would have runways 28, then 27 left, and 27 right. But this is we'll see some of this as we go. This is what the airport description means, what it's trying to tell us, and you find this out, or you learn how to read this, how to interpret this, just by probably by practice, by just looking a lot at several different airports and their properties in this way. But this is essentially how to read the data about the airports.
Dashboard.
I wanted to take a look at the descent map as
Height
well.
above sea level 259 m.
Just for good measure.
Same altitude, safe circle 0,1 km.
Just 100 meters of same altitude safe circle around the airport.
2 kilometers, safe altitude 266 m, which is...
But it's just like 7 meters higher within 2 kilometers away from the airport, so no steep climb at all. It's going to be a piece of cake.
5 kilometers, safe altitude 273 m, which is 14.
Yeah, that's just very easy.
2 kilometers, safe altitude 266 m.
Okay, so no difficulties here. Trying to climb here. So
repair, enter, plan, repair, runway, take, dash.
Let's start our engine. Let's take a look at the plane properties first.
Certified, number of seats 3, number of passengers 0, wingspan 11, length 8 m, base weight 1 t, current weight 1,7 t, cruising speed 450 kilometers. Maximum cruising range, 2,776 kilometers.
We see the planes are getting faster and faster as we progress in the training.
Maximum cruising altitude, 7,006. Flap positions, 0/3.
O/3 or O out of 3. So we have 4 maximum possible flap positions, or rather, the 0 is always, the flaps are always retracted, and then there are 3 possible positions with the flaps being extended.
Base takeoff speed, 107 kilometers.
107 base takeoff speed.
Base landing speed, 107 kilometers. Stall speed, 117 kilometers.
But the stall speed, we already know this. The current stall speed is 117. So we wouldn't be able to take off at all. But
Current takeoff speed, 107 kilometers. Nose angle when taking off, 6 to 9, 13. Minimum flap position when taking off, 1.
But if we set the flaps to 1, which is the minimum flap position required for takeoff, the stall speed would probably drop below 107.
Minimum takeoff runway length, 381 m.
These runways on this airport are relatively short, but the Mooney, fortunately, also needs just a short runway, so that's going to be fine because the 0927 runways are like 800 meters long. I believe it was 790 something. So it's more than twice as long as we need.
Minimum takeoff runway length, 381. Current landing speed, 107 kilometers. Minimum flap position when landing, 2.
2 is minimum flap position required for landing.
Minimum landing runway length, 472 m.
So we can either land with the flaps at 2 or 3. The minimum landing runway length required is a little bit longer. It's almost 100 meters longer.
Minimum flap position when take nose angle. Current take stalls. Minimum flap minimum takeoff runway length 381 m. Current minimum flap position. Minimum landing runway length 472 m.
Yeah, but still good enough for the 0927. If we were to land on this airport, the 0927 runways would be long enough, would be good enough. But the control tower probably shouldn't be assigning us the runway 1028.
Fuel tank capacity. Current fuel load 1000. Current cruising range. Fuel used. Battery on. Engine off. Throttle preset 1.
So we see we have just one engine and it's currently off.
Throttle doors closed. Seat belt fastened. Parking brakes active. Landing gear lowered. Current flap position 0.
You see a new system, new entry here in the properties. Landing gear lowered. So we can taxi on the ground and we can take off and we can land, and we will have to remember, or not to forget, to raise the landing gear after we've successfully taken off.
Current flap position 0. Onboard computer on. Radio 118,0. Transponder 5573.
Know all of this
Communicator off.
already.
Atlas off.
All of the
Sensor off.
remaining
Status
systems
monitor off. Taxi lights on.
are
Cabin lights on.
already
Strobe lights on.
familiar to
Landing
us.
lights off. Ventilation off. Temperature control off.
Ventilation is a new system. So the Mooney M20J already has ventilation as well,
Storm radar on.
besides all the other systems that we already know.
TCA off. Stall indication off. Steering/nose angle indication on. Audio navigation off. Auto course inactive. Auto altitude inactive.
We
Dashboard.
also have auto course and auto altitude, as we already know. So let's start the engine. Still no need to ask for permission. And turn on all the other remaining systems that didn't have enough power before to be started.
TCAS on.
Control Shift C,
Stall indication
Control
on.
Shift E,
Temperature control on.
Control Shift Q, Alt Q.
Set temperature. Set temperature combo box 18 collapsed.
To set the we can just leave that
Dashboard
at
weight.
18 degrees Celsius. Control backspace
Sensor on.
and Control Shift V
Ventilation on.
for ventilation. Now we're actually good to go. So let's ask the tower
Combo.
for a takeoff
Repair. Runway.
runway.
Dashboard window.
SK204. You've been assigned runway 09 left. You can taxi.
09 left. So we're about to be going north. So what's going to happen is that we'll leave the hangar and end up on Delta. We'll keep going north along Delta. We'll drive along or past the 09R runway, and then we'll get to runway 09L, where we'll be entering that runway. Let me see the coordinates of that entrance.
Entrance 09R. Entrance 27L. Entrance 20. Surface. Runways. Entrance 09L. Delta 350. 100.
Delta 350, 100. 350 latitude, 100
Entrance 09L. Delta 350. 100. Dashboard.
You don't really need to, as you've seen before, even in the previous tutorials, you don't really need to be concerned about the coordinates if you don't find them helpful, or if you can't remember them, or if all they do to you is actually confuse you even more rather than help you. But I'm
Minus 200 hangar.
not really like obsessed with them,
50 hangar.
but I do find them helpful sometimes, like in this case.
Blank.
Because since we're at latitude
Minus 200 hangar.
-200 and the entrance to 09L is at latitude 300. This actually tells us that we just need to go 500 meters north. So not very far. And we'll, the right turning to 09L will be right in our path. So B,
Parking brakes off.
disengage the parking brakes. My usual routine, you may be doing this differently, but I'll do Alt Home to set the engines to full power, to full throttle. Keep watching my speed with R, and once it reaches 20, I'll choke the engines off with Control Delete.
Throttle preset 5, 0, 1, 2, 4, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, choked off 16,
You see this plane is really fast.
19, 19, 7, 21,
Okay,
21,
21 is good enough. It really accelerates
21,
quickly. We're on parking now, 21.
North.
We're still going north.
blank, delta,
And now we're on Delta.
throttle preset
So
1,
let's
18, 17,
the
16,
engines
15,
to
14, 14,
idle.
12, 12, 12, 11, 10, 10, choked off 10,
to slow down a little bit.
10,
Now there's the turning to 01R, 09R.
Sierra 1.
Oh, Sierra is first, okay.
Sierra
I see.
1.
23 delta,
Oh yeah, because we're still at
Sierra
only
1.
at latitude 23. We've just moved 200 meters.
Sierra 1.
So Sierra is actually first.
Sierra 1.
I don't know why it's called Sierra 1 at this particular
Sierra
airport,
1.
but that's how it is.
Sierra 1.
We may not have
Sierra
needed to
1.
slow down
10,
yet,
11,
so
12, 13, 15, 17, 18, choked 20,
Sierra 1.
20,
let me do this. Now there should be 09R on our right.
north,
09R.
There we go.
throttle
Slow
preset
down
9,
to
8,
10.
18, 7, 7, 16, 16, 15, 4, 4, 13, 12, 12, 12, 11, choked off 10,
09R.
And now we'll ask the tower to
09R.
for the permission to enter the runway. Obviously, they're going to tell us
09R.
first to switch to the approach control frequency because there's this
09R.
known bug. But we know we can disregard that
09R.
already. We can disregard that instruction safely. There we go.
combo, plan, enter, asking for permission to enter the runway,
They're not contacting me. Probably because there's no ground control, so the bug doesn't manifest itself in this case. But we'll see. We'll see. This is just speculation.
dashboard
Yes.
window,
SK204. You're permitted to enter the runway.
09L.
09L.
0, 89,
09L.
89, 89, 89, 89, east, east, 91,
09L.
east, east, throttle preset 1, 7, 6, 5,
09L.
4, 3, choked off 2, 2,
09L.
2,
09L.
3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4,
09L.
4, 5, choked off 5,
09L.
Come on. since I was
09L.
09L 27R, 758 M,
758 meters off the runway ahead of us, more than enough space to take off. Since I was going this slow, I was just going only at 10 kilometers per hour. Even with such a small plane, I actually turned the wheels to the right by the full 50 degrees to turn east quickly. So we're good to go. We'll just set the flaps, Control F
set flap
to 1,
1, dashboard window,
and ask for
Flaps set.
takeoff clearance.
combo, takeoff, dashboard window,
SK204. You are cleared to take off.
We're clear to take off. Thank you. So as always, full throttle, watch the speed, and once it reaches 107, we can raise the nose. And since I believe the properties said the minimum nose angle for takeoff was 6, the optimum angle was 9, and the maximum safe takeoff angle was 13, I believe.
combo
Let
box spot,
me
Mooney M20J, Mooney training, Mooney
verify
M20,
that.
maximum cruising, minimum flap position, minimum takeoff runway length, current land, minimum landing, fuel tank, current fuel, Battery and doors closed.
Where is it?
Fuel current fuel tank minimum flap position minimum landing runway current landing minimum takeoff run minimum flap nose angle when taking off
Oh.
6 to 9 13
6, 9, 13. Yeah, I was
Dashboard.
right. So once I reach 107, I'll just press shift down once to raise the nose by 10 degrees and then down arrow by itself 3 more times to get to 13.
throttle preset 5 3 flaps at 1 6 flaps at 1 22 flaps at 1 90 power 90% 51 flaps at 1 68 flaps at
That
1
was the delete key.
85 flap 90 flaps 94 flap 99 flap 106 110 flaps at 13
T, 13. Let's see, we're taking off. We're doing
Takeoff
good.
successful.
Takeoff successful. Control G is the keystroke to raise the landing
Safety
gear.
zone.
Control
Set
F,
flap position.
set flaps to
0.
0.
Dashboard
Don't
window.
forget,
Out of airport.
so that we
SK2
avoid
Zero.
damaging
Flaps
them.
set.
Climb to altitude 95.
Shift K,
Taxi lights
turn off
off.
the taxi lights. Alt Z,
set altitude
and
set
auto
altitude edit plane.
altitude 950,
950
just
dashboard
like we
window.
were told by the tower.
24 right at 114
24 right at 114. That's where our destination airport of Martin, Slovakia is. So let's do Alt S
Set
for
course.
auto course 114.
114 dashboard window 1 right at 115
1 right,
set course
115.
100 dead ahead at 115
Dead ahead.
dead ahead 136 kilometers Martin 19 minutes
135
135
kilometers, 19 minutes.
135 kilometers Martin 18 minutes
18 minutes, okay.
436
We're almost at our maximum cruising speed already. We're at speed 436 kilometers per hour.
952
Yeah, the altitude we're flying at is 952 meters, so exactly what we wanted. Now, let me show you one really cool new feature that was added in a recent update before I recorded this. And that's one that's been requested really long, and that's the ability to view the properties of the destination airport directly, no matter where you're currently flying. There's a new keystroke for that, and that's Alt-Enter. So, anytime during flight, you can now press Alt-Enter no matter what, and you'll always be looking directly at the properties of your chosen destination airport. Now, isn't that cool? Alt-Enter.
combo box pilot Lucas S Mooney training tutorial Mooney M LZMA Martin
LZMA, Martin.
public without height above sea level public without maintenance services 1
1.
height above sea level 412 m
412 meters, so it's like 150, 160 something meters higher above sea level than our starting airport was.
difficulty 1 approach
Still
control,
difficulty
118,
1 though.
1. airport
It's almost the same approach control frequency as well, 118.1, whereas our starting airport was 118. That's just a little bit of a interesting, funny coincidence.
airport description
Airport description, that's what I want to know.
runways 2
2 runways only,
runway 36 L18R 800 m
3618, so due north to due south, and there's 36 left and 18R, and the other runway is 36 right, 18L.
and trans 36L Alpha 100 200
Alpha, okay.
and trans 18R Alpha Oscar Echo 900 100
Alpha,
and
Oscar,
99
Echo.
surface UNC runway 36 R18L 800 m
36 right, 18 left,
runway 36 R18L 800 m
800 meters. We should have more than enough space to land. We should be good to go.
and trans 36R Alpha 100 350
Yeah.
and trans 18L Alpha Oscar Echo 9
So the 3-6 entrances are directly on Alpha, whereas the 1-8 entrances we need to go along Alpha Oscar Echo.
surface UNC
Okay.
hangar southeast
And the hangar is to the southeast, so the
Took
main
safety
area
zones.
is going to be to the southwest. I see. So we'll need to get to Alpha and then keep going. Then go west from Alpha though, to go east from Alpha though, to get to the main area.
combo box
What's the decent map say?
height above same altitude safe circle 0,2 km
200 meters of same altitude safe circle, a little bit better, a little bit more generous.
2 kilometers safe altitude 50 kilometers safe altitude 1820
Oh,
30 kilometers safe altitude dashboard 97 kilometers dash 917
there's 97 kilometers ahead of us, control semicolon, there's a mountain,
96 kilometers dash 979 m 12
979.
109 kilometers
So let me climb to
Set altitude. Set altitude edit lane.
altitude like 1,200.
1,200.
That was Alt Z, auto altitude, just to be on the safe side. Alt
Combo
enter
box,
again.
20 kilometers. 30 kilometers safe altitude 1,674
I
m.
see.
20 kilometers safe altitude 1,674 m, which is 1,200.
This one will be a pretty steep climb.
15 kilometers safe altitude 1,674 m.
1,000. Oh,
10 kilometers safe altitude 1,373. 5 kilometers safe altitude 914 m, which is 5.
okay.
10 kilometers safe altitude 1,305 kilometers safe
400
altitude
meters
914 m, which is 5.
Within 5 kilometers, excuse me.
2 kilometers safe altitude 540 m.
Another 400 meters. Oh,
Same altitude safe circle 0,2 km.
that's still difficulty 1.
Dash.
Okay.
92 kilometers dash bis note 1,375. 102 kilometers.
Let me
Set out.
climb even higher. 1,600.
1,006.
So that's our destination airport properties. We have or should have enough information to know what to do and where to go. What's the weather? W.
Overcast clouds temperature 5 pressure 1022 humidity 87 north wind 3 m per second.
North wind. So they should probably give us one of the 3-6 runways because we need to be landing while flying against the wind, as we know by now. But we'll see. We still have another almost 100 kilometers to go, so maybe the weather is going to be a little bit different when we get directly to Martin than what it is right here. We're currently at
Komarno. Blank. Blank.
Yeah.
Blank. Komarno. Okres Kromerize.
in a different region or district of Slovakia than where we need to be. What's the height of sea level? What's the terrain elevation below us, by the way,
382.
right now? Because I'm curious. Just 382.
1,602. 93. 129 kilometers dash Megruka 1,720.
There's still even a taller mountain, 120 something kilometers ahead of us, but
91 kilometers.
now we just need to fly only 90 more kilometers to get to the airport, so now we're safe. We don't need to climb any higher at this point.
126 kilometers dash Meg.
Okay, 126, that's the obstacle.
89 kilometers Martin 11
And 89 kilometers,
dead ahead at 115.
still dead ahead. So now we're finally good to go
1,602.
at altitude 1,602 meters. All right. I should have done this on the ground, but let's take a look at our flight plan now that we still have a bit of time. We have
87 kilometers Martin 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Combo box pilot Lucas Hot. Combo box. Starting airport. All on modes. LKOL. Czech
That
Republic.
was Control Enter and Tab.
Destination airport. Martin. LZMA. Slovakia. Backup destination airport. Ružomberok. LZRU. Slovakia.
Okay.
Flight not monitored by National Air Traffic Control.
Not monitored by National Air Traffic Control because even though it's the flight is over 100 kilometers long, it still takes place only in Slovakia, so there's no need for the National Air Traffic Control to be monitoring it.
Direct flight.
It's a direct flight.
Planned flyover areas. Czech Republic.
Czech Republic and Slovakia. Oh, so we will be flying over the Czech Republic at one point.
Length of planned flight. 139 kilometers.
139 kilometers.
0 minutes. Length of flight to the backup airport. 170 kilometers.
The backup airport is pretty much like a lot farther away. It's 40 kilometers farther away than the actual destination
0
airport.
minutes. Required fuel. 193 L. Fuel load when taking off. 999 L.
Just
Sufficient.
200 liters fuel was required when taking off in order to be able to perform the flight successfully, and we had 1,000, so that's more than sufficient fuel load.
Fuel used. 80 L. Flight costs. 700. Airfare. Possible points.
Okay,
Dashboard window. Dead ahead. 75 kilometers. Martin 9 minutes.
9 minutes still. Let me take a look at the map just because I can. What's on our left?
Poland
You?
69 kilometers.
Poland. I on our right.
Slovakia 62 kilometers.
Slovakia. P.
Slovakia 13 kilometers.
So Slovakia is ahead of us.
13 kilometers. Slovakia 1 minutes.
Okay, and what's behind us? M.
357 kilometers. Germany 44 minutes.
Where is the Czech Republic? I can't see it. That's around us. Oh,
Combo box roulette collapsed. 0 Slovakia 11 kilometers. 116 Austria 109 kilometers. 147 Germany 320. 192 Poland 200. 304 Slovakia 30.
So we've already
Dashboard.
either passed it already, maybe if I looked at the map earlier, or we're still not close enough.
67 kilometers, Martin, 8 minutes.
I don't really know. What else can I do? What else can I show you? Oh, I'm going to tell you one more new feature, which is pretty cool, and I have time to talk about it before we actually get close enough to the destination airport and before I start using it in practice. So I can explain it now, and I will not have to talk about it anymore. And that is that the comma key now actually, it does two more new pretty cool things compared to what it did before that update. First one is that it announces the name of the airport that the data is related to. So basically it tells you which airport it is reporting the current safe circle for. Let me demonstrate this in practice. Key 8 on the numbers row.
Nearest Dubnikin at Bayonne, 34 kilometers.
Slovakia.
So it tells us, oh, because we were in the Czech Republic. I'm so stupid, obviously. I was taken off from Olomouc, from Czech Republic, and only now we're in Slovakia. Now the Czech Republic
1,4 km Czech Republic, 0
is
minutes.
behind us. Yeah. So let me
Nearest Dubnikin at Bayonne, 33 kilometers.
So the nearest airport is 33 kilometers away, and now when I press comma, oh, it doesn't say anything. Oh, yeah, because I'm not in any airport's controlled area, so I'll demonstrate this a little bit later. But the second pretty cool new thing that it does now, and that's even more important than that, is that once we are properly aligned to the landing runway that we've been assigned, and we're flying straight for the landing runway, the comma key is no longer going to give us the safe altitude circle around the entire airport, but instead it's going to start giving us the descent map point readouts for the specific runway. So that is pretty cool because it's automatic. You don't have to do anything yourself manually, but it's going to tell you once you're flying properly and straight for the landing runway, it's going to tell you the waypoints for the runway. So the comma key is now contextual.
47 kilometers, Martin, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay, but it's still a category 1 airport, so we need to contact the tower, the approach control, only when we're 20 kilometers away from the airport.
Nearest Dubnikin at Bayonne, 31 kilometers. 45 kilometers.
The nearest airport is still quite far away, so I can't really demonstrate that. The comma key announcing the name of the nearest airport yet, but I will when we get there. I think
118,0.
yeah, since my radio is set to frequency 118, but I'm not in the range of any airport, let me just switch the frequency to the approach control of my destination airport now already, so ahead of time, so that that'll be one less thing for me to worry about when we come within range. So again, let me use this pretty cool new keystroke Alt-Enter to display the properties of my destination airport directly.
Approach control 118,1.
Is approach control is, like I remembered, I did, is 118.1. Escape Alt F.
Set frequency
118.1. Enter.
118,1. Dashboard window.
There we go.
37 kilometers, Martin, 4 minutes.
37 kilometers, 4 minutes.
One right at 116.
It's just one right, so Alt S,
Set course.
116.
116.
Fix the course, or correct the course, realign myself with the airport.
Nearest Dubnikin at Bayonne, 34 kilometers.
34 kilometers to the nearest airport, so I still can't really demonstrate the new features of the comma key. We're flying over a region where there's not too many airports.
Overcast clouds, temperature 2, pressure 1022, humidity 93, south wind 0 m per second.
Oh, now now the wind is blowing from the south, so it's going to it's probably going to give me one of the 18 runways, and I'm going to have to turn all around and approach the airport from the other side. We'll see.
116.
Oh no, because I'm flying, okay. So it's not going to be that hard.
Dead ahead at 100 and
Because I am on course 116 already, so I'm closer. I'm actually closer to the southward ends of the runways or entrances of the runways than I am to the north ones.
dead ahead at 28 kilometers, Martin 3 minutes. Nearest Martin 28 kilometers.
Oh, okay. So our destination is actually the nearest one now. Our destination airport.
Poland 44 kilometers.
Is to the left.
Hungary 169 kilometers.
Is to the right.
Hungary 160 kilometers.
And also ahead of us, and what's behind us?
34 kilometers, Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. 34 kilometers. How far along the country cutout are we into Slovakia? F3.
78.32.
78% to the. So we're in the northwest of Slovakia, or almost to the north and closer to the middle.
22 kilometers. Dead ahead.
22 kilometers. The tower is going to contact us really soon because we are already tuned to its frequency. And the usual approach and landing routine is going to commence, but you already know this. There's not gonna be too much of a difference in the landing, but
Martin approach control.
I'll show you the parallel
Welcome to our airspace.
runways and how useful it
Combo
is
runway,
to
asking-
F1. R ask for the runway, how useful it is
Dashboard
to
window.
use the ILS system.
You've been assigned runway 36 right.
Oh, we've been assigned
Combo box
3-6
approach.
right. All right.
Approach.
Approach
Dashboard window.
clearance.
204. You can begin
I
approach.
can begin approach. Okay.
Dead ahead at 116.
116. So I'll turn. Let me turn to
Set
like
course.
180
180. Dashboard window.
because that's closer. That's so flying around the airport.
652 kilometers.
No obstacles. Nearest obstacle is like 650 kilometers away, so we're good to go along this course. It's actually faster and shorter to fly around, to circle around the airport from the right, so flying to the right, than it would be the other way around. Because, runway 36 is actually course 0. And 116 degrees that was our course before is less or is closer to 0, than adding than 116 degrees plus like 240 244 if that makes sense to you.
99 left at 81.
81. Okay.
14 kilometers. 70 kilometers descent to 1,322 m, which is 900 south.
Oh, I'm actually along. Oh, yeah.
105 left at 75.
75. So let me turn to 160.
160. Dashboard window.
And now press comma.
15 kilometers safe altitude 1,674 m, which is 1,262 m above ground.
Oh, it
Martin,
does.
LZM8.
It says the name of the airport at the end.
15 kilometers safe altitude 1,674.
1,674.
1,602.
I'm actually lower than that,
811 kilometers dash 3 1,000.
but we see
98 left at 62.
we have no obstacles
14 kilometers.
on this course, so it's not on this side of the airport, so I don't really need to climb, but I shouldn't be descending.
105 left at 55. 107 left at 53.
One more new feature in the last update that I forgot to talk about and demonstrate before. You can now watch terrain below your altitude, not just at your current cruising altitude. You can do
759 kilometers dash Stanomirovsk.
Control Shift semicolon
300 dialogue. Edit 300.
to set
Depth.
the altitude that you want to be observing the terrain from. You saw that there was 300 pre-filled
121 left at 39. 17 kilometers.
pre-filled
123 left at 37.
at the
Set course.
90. Let's
90.
turn to
Dashboard
course
window.
90. There was 300 pre-filled in the edit field. That was the actual elevation
43 kilometers.
of the terrain.
58 left at 32.
But you can do any altitude. So let's say you're flying at altitude 2000 and you want to see if there's anything below you at like 1000. So you do Control Shift semicolon, you put in 1000, press enter, and then when you do Shift semicolon, not Control semicolon, it's going to tell you
66 left at 24.
that obstacle,
15 kilometers Martin 1 minutes.
but or it's going to tell you, it's going to look ahead for obstacles on your course, on your current course, but in that lower altitude than where you're currently flying. So this feature is actually pretty useful.
15 kilometers, Martin.
Because what you can do is you can look at the terrain ahead and below you ahead of time as you're still approaching, still only on the way for your destination
14
airport.
kilometers, Martin.
So you can look ahead of time whether, like, you know, because you have these safe altitude circles.
85 left at 5.
You will be,
Set course.
10.
10. Dashboard window. 60 left at 3. 30 left at 2. Set course. Dashboard. 8 left at 2. 8 left at 2. 8 left at 2. Set course. 15. Dash. Throttle.
And slow down as well.
14 left at 1. 14 left at 1. 14 left at 1. 14 left at 1. 14 left at 1.
Engines to 1%.
Powered. 14 left at 1. 14 left at 1. 15 left at 0. Set 0. Dashboard window.
S0.
Dead ahead at 0.
Okay.
359. 11 kilometers.
We're 11 kilometers away.
Paused.
What I
Paused.
wanted to say was that you will be able to see if, when you're approaching, if there's any obstacles below you at the side that you are approaching your destination airport from, basically. That's what I wanted to say. Now that I'm aligned with
Paused.
the runway,
Resumed.
Kalma is going to tell me
10 kilometers descent to 557.
that I can descend to 557 meters. So let's do that.
290.
And what's the
Combo.
stall speed?
Stall speed. 117.
117, okay. So minus
20.
20 degrees, nose
257.
angle,
251. 1,460.
and watch the altitude and speed.
238. 1,390. 226. 1,323. 1,215. 1,250. 1,206. 8,8 km Martin. 200. 197. 1,100. 193. 190. 187. 185. 183. 1,019. 179, 177, 175, 173, 100, 919, 168, 166, 164, 162, 822, 0, 157.
Raise the flaps to
Set flap
3.
3. Dashboard window.
Extend the flaps to 3
150.
rather.
149. 147 flaps at 3.
Okay.
144 flaps at 3.
And slow down to
141 flap. 140 flaps at 3.
107.
7,1 km Martin 3 minutes. 8,2 km descent to 492. 700, 130 flaps, 700, 128 flap, 127, 748, 125, 124, 123 flap, 700, 122, 120, 692, 120 flaps, 119 flap, 118, 662, 117 flap, 116, 630, 115, 114, 114, 609, 113 flap, 112 flap, 111, 111, 500, 110 flap, 109, 109, 109, 108, 108, 108, 107,
Choke
choked
off.
off, 518. 8,2 km descent to 492, 482, 0. 10, 407, 483, 486, 490, 0, 496.
Good. We are good to go.
5,7 km dead ahead at 0.
And we're safe. I managed such a steep climb in such a short time. Let me,
107 flaps at 3.
we have the flaps set. Let me lower, no, let me raise the landing gear with control G. Turn on the landing lights.
Landing lights
And
on.
ask for landing clearance.
Combo box land. Asking for landing clearance.
Lowered.
You see now the landing gear has been lowered. The music has stopped.
Dashboard window.
SK204, landing clearance
And
granted.
we're clear to land.
4,7 km.
4.7 kilometers. What was our runway again?
Runway. Dashboard window.
SK204, you've been assigned runway 36 right.
36 right.
North.
So let's do Control S to invoke the ILS menu.
Combo box 36L collapsed.
And we see here we have 36 left
36
and
R.
36 right. These runways are parallel, so they're literally next to each other. First we'll be flying over 36L, and only then we'll be flying over 36 right, and that's where we're supposed to land. So you see 2 runways here in this menu now. So that's why we select 36R.
Dashboard window. 0,4 ILS. Dead ahead at 0. 3,4 km.
3.4
4,2 km descent to 476 m,
I
which is
can
64
descend
m
to
above ground.
476.
494, 492, 489, 486, 484, 481, 470, 475, 1, 400, 0, 475, 476, 0, 476.
Okay.
Dead ahead, 2,8 km,
2.8 kilometers. Well, what's the
470, 15 above ground.
I'm just 15 above ground. That's good. What does the descent map say?
Combo box descent map collect. Height above. Same altitude. 5 kilometers. Safe altitude 914.
No,
Combo
I-
box.
I-
0 B. 2 kilometers. 1 Z. Waypoint. Combo box. Runway 36L. Runway 36R. 0,9 km descent to 417 m, which is 5 m above ground. 1,6 km descent to 431 m, which is 19 m above ground. 2,2 km descent to 450 m, which is 38 m above ground. Dash 41 above ground.
Oh,
2,2 km descent to 450 m, with 476.
450, okay.
470, 469, 464, 458, 451.
You see how this makes
450, 450,
how this makes
34 above ground.
landing
1,4 km Martin 0,
so much more easier.
1,6 km descent to 431 m, which is not 450. 447, 442, 437, 432, 427,
No.
6, 432.
Good.
0,9 km descent to 417 m, which is 432.
And now we can get to
Minus 10.
417.
420, 400, 416. 7 above ground.
We're 7 meters above ground.
0,9 km descent to 417 m, which
That was our last descent point.
107 flaps at 3.
Flaps, landing gear, speed, everything's okay.
0,3 km Martin 0 minutes.
We have 300 meters to go to get to the airport. So
Airport.
safety zone. Our landing will be clear and safe. Safety zone.
4 above ground.
4 above ground. There's Alpha. And now you'll be seeing
Runway 36R18L.
Throttle
That
preset.
was
Landing
our-
successful.
our runway.
77 flaps at 3.
I made a
67,
mistake.
64 flaps. 57, 52 flap. 48 flaps at. Choked off. Set flap position. 0. Dashboard window.
Flaps to 0. Landing,
Landing lights
off.
off. Taxi
Flaps
lights
Taxi
on.
lights on.
524.
We have 500
44.
meters to go.
490 m.
I made a mistake. Our runway 36R
427 m.
was actually the first one.
North.
My bad. But the advantage of these north to south runways
346. Throttle
Is
preset
that
1.
we're
43. 41. 39.
going
37. 36. 33.
we're
31.
on due north or due south
27,
course.
26, 25,
So we're
24,
not going
23, 21,
diagonally
choked off,
anywhere.
20, 217 m.
Still 200 meters to go. That was a perfect slow down break, if I can say, if I dare say so myself. So I mixed up the landing runways, but I think I made up for it with the perfect textbook landing. Yeah, I know, enough bragging. You know, but everyone's ego needs a little bit of a
North.
booster sometimes.
Echo. Echo. Echo.
North.
Echo. Echo.
So echo, turn east.
Echo.
Echo.
When we get there,
0, 89,
18L.
89, 89, 89, east, 0, 91, 94 m,
18L.
east, 914 echo, 79 m, 75 m, east, 70 m,
where is there a turning?
65 m, 64 m, 64 m, 64 m,
What?
east,
What is the
Romeo.
Romeo?
Romeo.
0, 182, 177, 100, 117 south, 0, 181, 100 south, south, 752 m.
752 meters of Romeo ahead of us. Now I can ask the control tower for an instruction, because as you know, I only do that to work around
20,
the bug where we stop at the main area without asking for any kind of instructions, our flight is not going to register as completed and it's not going to get evaluated. But that's just, remember, this is really important, that all this is just a workaround the bug for now.
553 m, 20,
so
combo box, play, enter, repair, runway, take, repair,
yeah, what I can
Flight
do
enter.
is ask for to change the flight plan.
Dashboard window.
SK204. It's not possible to change the flight plan at the moment. Taxi to parking.
Yeah, I will taxi to parking. Thank you. I know what I'm doing. I just need to ask you
438
just to get around the stupid bug.
south, 520 Romeo,
So we're on Romeo. I believe,
south,
since we're going due south, that our next turning will be Alpha. But we'll actually turn left instead of right. Because, you know, Alpha goes west, but I need to go east once I reach that taxiway in order to be able to get to the main area. I don't want to be making a circle around the whole airport, taxiing all day long and reaching the other ends of these landing runways.
170 m.
170 meters to go.
South.
Our latitude is
214 Romeo.
214. Our longitude
482
is
Romeo.
482.
Alpha.
There's
South.
Alpha. Okay. Wait.
Alpha.
Since the beacon is playing dead ahead, wait till it
Alpha.
stops, till we are actually on that runway.
Alpha.
And only then, once we're actually there,
Alpha.
we make the turn.
Alpha.
Alpha. 099.
Romeo.
87. 87. 88. 89.
Romeo.
91. East. 89.
Romeo.
This
89,
plane reacts
89, 88,
really
zip east.
quick.
East.
Okay, there we go. I don't need the sensor.
Sensor off.
We're close to the left edge of the runway, I know.
134 m.
130. Oh, there's parking. So throttle to idle and brake all the way to a full stop.
Hangar. Hangar.
Flight completed.
Hangar. Hangar. Hangar.
Training.
Flight 3 Lucas Hosnadel window.
So that was it. That was it for the flight training tutorial on airports with multiple runways, with up to 3 runways. We also showed off an airport that has parallel runways, and also demonstrated an airplane that already has a retractable landing gear as opposed to the previous ones. That was the Mooney M20J. I hope, like I said at the beginning, that you had fun. I also hope, more importantly, that everything made sense to you, that everything's clear. As always, if you have any questions or doubts or anything is not clear, feel free to ask in the comments. I need to look at them as well. Yeah, I'm really busy. I know it's difficult with me these days. It's also, believe me, it's more difficult for myself in my own life than it is for you. So yeah, there you go. I know if it takes me, I need to say this. I don't want to be keeping you long, but I really need to say this. If it takes me too long to respond, I realize, I know how much it sucks, and I'm sorry. I just want to assure you that I'm doing all I can. It's just I'm just really busy these days, and not in a really good, not having a good time. There's a lot of things I need to take care of, not just for Eurofly. That would be the least of it, and not just for work, but also family matters. And yeah. I believe those of you who know can imagine, and those of you who are fortunate enough as to not know, no amount of explaining will do anything. Yeah, or feel free to write to English at kissoft.sk, and I'll get back. I promise I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. I really will, but it's possible it's going to take a couple of days or a week, and it's not. I don't do it on purpose. I don't ignore you. I just don't have time to reply to emails, because I receive like 100, 200 mails and messages on other platforms every day that are more urgent, that actually need to be taken care of. That are for work or family. So that's that. Next tutorial, we'll move on to the next training stage, which will be will already be controlling a Category 2 plane and flying on Category 2 airports. We'll see new systems. We'll see a faster plane. I'll be explaining the difference between taxi mode and flight mode, which is something that the previous Category 1 training planes, or the no Category 1 planes at all, have. So that'll be a new feature and a new concept. And we'll see how it goes. So after completing this Mooney M20J tutorial, this training 1D stage, we're done with the initial 4 stages out of 9 of the basic training, and we'll move on to training stage 2. That's it. Thanks for listening. Good luck and happy skies, and be safe. Take care and see you next time.